Everyone has a life story to tell, but an incredible life story is shared and told differently.
Welcome to the program. It's Incredible Life Stories with Simon Kasyate. Tonight on the program, we are catered a bit differently. No prizes for guessing. We are out for something sporty, something fun, and something quite engaging, but from very, I would say, unlikely quarters. And that does sound chauvinistic, but you know that some subjects in our patriarchal society come off as taboo, especially if embraced by women or ladies for that matter. And one of those is riding a bicycle. Well, there's some communities in this country, like up north, where riding a bicycle has no gender discrepancy. But there are other places, majority part of the country, where a woman on a bicycle is quite a marvel. And for some more uncouth members of a society, they may hurl one or two insults. However, we see a young generation of people embracing cycling away from just the mode of operation of transport from moving point A to point B to enjoying the whole thrill of riding as recreation, and then for others, like the guest we have tonight, taking it a notch higher into not just a lifestyle, but a means of earning a living. On the program, I have an incredible young lady who has embraced cycling across the full value chain, from the necessity of mobility to the part of recreation and enjoying what she does, to the point of earning a living. And she's not selfish. She actually uses her bike cycling skills to take folks around to enjoy the beauty that our country is endowed with, because there are some places, beautiful as they are in this country, where you wouldn't have fun using other means of transport. Shamal
Yes. Nakabuye.
Sorry. Shamal Nakabuye.
Yes.
Welcome to the program.
Thank you so much for hosting me, Simon.
Pleasure seeing you all looking so kitted up, and beyond the kit, there's even a veil.
Yes, yes.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a Muslim by religion.
Without a doubt, your name says it.
Yes. My name is Nakabuye Shamal.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and I am a mother of 2 kids.
Ooh, incredible.
Daughters, yes.
Wow.
And yeah, that's why when I tell them my age and I tell them that I'm a mother, they'd be like, you're lying. They might be your siblings. I'd be like, it's okay, take it how you want it to be.
Do you also add the part that 2, but still counting?
Yes.
That's very important.
Yes, and I'm a cyclist by profession.
It shows, and I've just had a ride with you, and boy, oh boy, what a ride you can take someone through.
Yes, I'm a member of Fun Cycling Uganda. It's a club generally based at creating domestic tourism, and we do charity organizations as well. I work with All Right Africa.
What's that? Another charity organization?
No. It's a tour company. All Right Africa. It has 2: All Right Africa and On Deck Uganda. On Deck Uganda, it's for tours that don't engage in cycling, whereby All Right Africa, it means cycling has to be part.
But you have also taken the cycling thing beyond just a few places within the country.
Yes.
I have read about you taking an East African tour.
Yes.
On your bike.
On your bike, yes. Actually covered for about 12,000 kilometers.
12,000 kilometers means what? Like from where to where? Just
I cycled from Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania, Rwanda, Burundi. I transversed it for 2 times, covering a distance of 12,000 kilometers.
Okay, you see when you say Uganda, Kenya, Tanzania, and all that, it feels like you're just hopping from one country to another.
Actually, it's not hopping.
Take us through the cycling journey. Where do you start from? And just like...
Actually, there is a team called GATS. In full, it's the Great African Cycling Safari. It's also an organization that pushes integration of wheels to create the East African community to be one, creating no borders amongst us. So we would start from Uganda, Kampala. Then we say we'll go to Kenya first. So
you take which route?
Jinja, Busia to Kenya.
What? Busia. On the highway?
Yes, on the highway. And then when we enter Kenya, we can opt for two options, either off-road or the main road.
So enter Kenya, do you go through immigration
Yes, yes.
and get your passport stamped and all
Exactly.
that and declare we are here cycling and all?
Yes, because they always ask us what are you going to do. So we tell them our cause and it gives them this
confidence that you're
yes,
not going in for other things.
Exactly, because we're doing it for a good cause to help all the East African communities to be one.
Shamal,
yes,
I am just imagining you on your bike, you've settled from Kampala down to Weyogere,
yes,
into Seta,
yes,
down Mukono, Mbalala, Lugazi, into the Mabira forest.
Yes.
And then you just emanate into Jinja from because you face the beautiful bridge
Definitely.
over the Nile. And then off you continue Iganga all the way.
Actually, let me tell you the most enticing thing about cycling. You can make a plan, a travel plan. You'll be like, okay, for day one, I will leave Kampala to Jinja.
Okay.
Either to cut the distance.
But also to keep you with the stamina to proceed.
Yes, yes. You can say like either from Kampala to Jinja, it's so quiet. So how about I do Kampala to Iganga?
Wow.
So that would be like, okay, if I sleep in Iganga the day one, day two to reach the border, it will be easier for me if I do the immigration so fast. I can still push for some kilometers. And
end up in Bungoma, one of those places.
Exactly. So you make a travel plan.
Of course, you are outdoors, so to speak.
Yes.
It's raining, it's shining, it's windy,
yes,
it's all that, and then it gets dark. How do you maneuver through some of these, well,
first
natural
and foremost, for a cyclist who is going to use their bike, because in most cases we put our luggage on the bicycle. Yes, you didn't see some, but if I'm going to do bike parking, then that means I have to have a tent, sleeping bag, and some clothes with me.
Oh, so you don't actually sleep in hotels or so?
No, we actually camp. Yes, we camp. That's the most interesting thing.
And you still have energy to continue the next day?
Yes, yes. Of course, why not?
Well, later on in the program, you'll be telling us about the preparations for it.
Yeah.
But yes, overview, you've done an East African tour. That seems to have been the longest distance you've cycled. Am I not right?
Yes, actually, however, this year I was looking at cycling from Uganda to South Africa with two guys. We are going to cycle from here. He's called Abel. He owns a project for Eco Aqua. So we're planning to cycle from Uganda to South Africa, Cape Town.
How long do you think that's going to take?
It's going to take us for about 3 months.
So, Shamal, for 3 months, you're going to be off on the road, on a bicycle, your two children behind here, and other members of your family.
Yes.
Wow.
They actually very okay for me do that because they support me.
That's lovely.
And they know what I'm doing. I love it. So the support they give me just push me further.
Shamal, I think your expeditions are quite very exciting, but one would love to know, why would a fine 28-year who looks 16 lady choose, of all things, to get into cycling? How did this all start?
I was 5 years old, young. I used to love cycling. My brothers had a bicycle. And yes, I would cycle with them, but they would have this thing of like, we are the boys, we need to cycle more, for you just keep home.
Where was this? This is at home now?
Yes, it's at home. So
where is home?
Home is in Kawempe, Tula. And I didn't really find it so interesting. So I remember there was a guy, he had a black mamba bike. So he used
I don't know what that means, but
I
know Hero.
You know the Manjgaj
Yes, of course. No gears.
Yes, no gears. Fixed gear. He used to live around in our neighborhood. So I made sure I become his friend.
But at 5 years, you must have been really petite.
Yes, but you know how I can be so quick. Yes, I can make friends because I know you have what I want. So I have to be good to you. So he would come back from his work. I would say, hello, how are you? Can you please help me with your bike to ride? Because I felt my brothers were giving me little time to cycle.
So you went and found...
Thank you. But my mom wasn't so much into it, so she would tell me, no, don't do that. So I'll do it when she's not around. Thank you. I know, you know, they take us women to be like, there is a way how you have to preserve yourself.
Absolutely.
And I just felt like that's not me. Yes, I can do preserve myself, but there is something in me that...
Riding a bicycle is not one of the ways of preservation.
So, time went on. I would leave home for holidays to my other mom. I'd be there. I missed the bike, but when I get back, I would really go back to the bike again.
Wait a minute. So this Manigashwa bicycle that we know, of course, when you're small, like I imagine you were at 5 years, you want to pedal it from under the frame as opposed to being funny? Over the frame.
Actually, I never wanted to put my leg
through the frame.
They call it a chenda. I decided not to do that.
You want to?
Actually, I would sit up, but I would be tiptoeing. So I would ask a friend of mine to push me. I used to love downhills. So when I would sit on it, I would just be like, yes, I'm balancing, but then out of the blue, I crash. Because it wasn't my size, but that didn't stop me from pushing.
Well, the Banigashubas are normally coming in one size.
Thank you.
And no adjustments whatsoever.
And I used to get a lot of bruises.
So the body is all decorated with scars and all that.
Apparently, they're actually going, as you can see here. There is one, actually, this was from my childhood. But I would not
all those scars, you wear them as a badge of honor now because they are what made you who you are today.
Definitely. They didn't stop me from going further the following day.
And when you finally could be able to balance and ride on a bike, and now you've grown a little older, you are now maybe 7?
Not actually, not even 7, because I remember I was now getting to P6. Now I felt like I'm now tall enough a bit. So there was a friend of mine still, like, you know how you grow up together in the village?
You chose them skillfully. You wanted friends that have bicycles.
Not really, actually, but we were friends. But, you know, they used to have that, their parents had money by then, so they would give them what they want. So they had these bikes and they weren't cycling. So I would feel they are not using it how it
optimally.
Has to. Exactly. Yes. So I remember my mom would give me breakfast money, like to go to school. So I would keep it the full week until Friday to make it like something like 2K. You know, 2,000 of back then.
Even now, it's still quite some money for a primary school child.
Because I would give them the money over the weekend and I would be like, hey, I'm borrowing your bike for the full weekend. So I would cycle, oh my God, where? I mean, I have it from Saturday till Sunday evening.
Your mother, did she think that Omana Wobwala are missing from home on the weekend as opposed to being with her?
I used to get the good opportunity. She used to be going for work. So from early in the morning at around 7, she would be going, getting back home at 10 p.m. So I had that freedom.
Wow. So you drank, you ate, you did everything bicycle.
Bicycle. Until one day when I went to high school, I left her, then I had to stay with my sister.
Okay.
So there, I remember there are some boys still on the. I mean, I think I was blessed that all my friends that were coming to me, they were boys and they had bikes.
Wow.
And this is something that really, I'm like, this is me.
This is not luck, it's divine intervention.
So they would give me the bike. My sister knew what I wanted, but by then I think I was doing a lot of too many sports.
Oh, you're a very sporty person.
Yeah, I was doing football by then, netball, cycling, and I went for self-defense in boxing. Okay,
Shamal, I'm sure someone has once mentioned a phrase like this one to you. It's never a kind one, but how do you react when they say, Kana kawara kakula saja?
Kakula saja.
Did you get some of that? Because, I mean, you are into the sports that are predominantly for men. Football.
I've actually been having that too much. At some point, it would make me cry.
Oh, sorry.
Because, I just felt like, why are they seeing us in this perspective? However, by then, I think I realized what my sister was telling me because I was so mugged because I was doing a lot of
physical exercise.
Yes. So she was telling me, you know what? I know you love whatever you're doing, but I needed to choose only 2 things from whatever you're doing. Because I'm not raising a man in the house. And I was like, okay, I love football. Then I'm like, yes, I love it, but
it's too much of contact sport.
Yeah, so she was like, between football and cycling, choose. I was like,
it was natural.
Cycling.
Because you have your own bike. Football is one ball for
everyone.
For 22 of you.
Exactly. So I went for cycling. So when I went for cycling, I knew my mom never loved it.
At this point, you're going for cycling, but you're still renting a bike.
Yes. But actually by then, how I got my own bike.
Your first bike? From
a friend who gifted it to me.
It was a gift?
Because he became my friend. He was a newcomer. I didn't know he had a bike.
School.
Yes. I didn't know he had a bike. So I would help him copy his notes and all that. So one day he comes to school with a bike. I was like, okay.
You have a bike?
Okay. So I was like, hey, you know, I also cycle. Can you help me with your bike? He was like, yeah, it's okay. It's there. So he thought maybe I'm just a learner. Then he saw me cycling, like,
You just cleaned it one kick, jumped over
so he
it.
was like, oh, so you really are cycling? I'm like, yes. He's like, oh, how about we plan trips to them? I'm like, sorry, I don't have a bike. He's like, okay, you ride mine, me I can get from my friends. So then until he just told me, yeah, you can keep the bike. Like, it's you cycle with it. I mean, me, I'm not using it too much, not knowing he was actually planning to give it to me fully.
Wow, you're such a lucky lady.
And because he told me, I saw you love bikes too much.
How old were you at that point?
By then, I was, I think I was 17.
17.
Yes, I was 17.
Shamal, let's take a short break from this conversation because it's getting very interesting. However,
Yes.
it's important for us now to get into the whole mix of you're embracing your own bike. That meant commuting with a bike from home to school.
Yes.
That meant going with it to the mosque. That meant going with it to the market.
Yes.
That meant going with it wherever.
Yes.
Incredible life stories with Simon Kasyate. And I believe that Shamal here has an incredible life story she shares with us.
Thank you.
Everyone has a life story to tell, but an incredible life story is shared and told differently.
Well, ordinary folks with extraordinary life stories. And those are the incredible life stories that we share on the program. Shamal,
Yes.
a rider for recreation, for, well, now making a living
Yes.
and keeping fit.
Mhm.
Shamal, you talk about how your mom, quite not very receptive of the idea at first, but then you tell us if she eventually warmed up the idea.
Mhm.
But you don't say much about your dad.
Sadly, Allahumma ghafirlahu warhamhu. That's a dua we normally say whenever you remember someone who passed on.
Oh dear,
Yeah,
may
right.
God rest his soul in
I mean,
paradise.
so my dad passed on in 2003.
How old were you then?
By then, I remember I was in top class. Yes, I remember I was in top class.
So let's say you don't actually have a vivid memory of him.
Yes,
Maybe.
I only have bits of how it was when he was still alive.
So all this time, through all these struggles, learning how to ride a bike, being a tomboy like your brothers,
He
yet
wasn't
having to
there.
fit in with your sisters, dad was not there.
Yeah, he wasn't.
Now mom realizes you have a new bike. You were a
She
teenager.
actually didn't even know that I was having a bike.
Oh,
I had that secret between me and my sister. Because,
you'd fear to answer the questions of who gave it to you,
not
why
even
didn't he give
that,
it to you,
she
what's
had
going
this
on?
thing of like, are you still cycling?
Oh,
So because when I was staying with my sister, I wasn't staying with her.
yes.
So over the weekends, I would cycle from my sister's home, come home just to check out how it is going, then I go back. So one day, I cycle as I normally do over the weekend, not knowing that day she didn't work.
Haha.
So I had approached into the compound like this. Then I found that door open. I just, they call
You
it in
skid.
Chungwa.
Uh-huh.
So I just skinned my bike. I was like, okay, don't run. I've seen you. I was like,
Oh.
I'm dead for sure. I just didn't have any option, but I had to park. Then I had to greet her. And she's like, oh, so you're still cycling? I'm like, yes.
As you can see, yes.
But then actually I didn't even have gloves, no helmet.
You are coming raw, but were you in a skirt?
I was raw. No, I would do shorts,
Uh-huh.
but raw, no helmet, no safety gears. So she kept quiet. Then my other sister came in. So I went into the sitting room. She was outside. So I had her speak to my sister. Now you see her, she used this phrase in Luganda. Omulaba, wenjogera ku gali nganyiga. Yogera kone, like, speak to her, make her understand, like, people are saying her in a wrong way. She should stop cycling. I mean, she's a woman, who will even marry her and all that. So then she called out for me. So when she called me and she asked me, really, do you really feel this is you, that you have to be on a bike? You're a woman, you're a lady, you're going to grow up, you'll have kids. So I asked her, Mommy, how would you want to know your daughter that she's hanging out with guys that are using drugs? If the societies are coming to you to tell you that, how would you feel?
You're spending nights in discotheques.
Thank you. Instead of them coming to you like, hey, your girl is over the village riding, cycling. So of the two, which one do you think is more bad? She's like, I know the other one is very bad, but still you are a woman. So I just told Mommy, I'm sorry, but can I go sleep? She's like, now I've said something that has pissed you off, now you're going to sleep. Then I'm like, but mommy, this is me. So the only support I had by then was my big sister. The
Because
one who
again,
knows.
she had no choice.
Exactly. But she knew, I think she realized how much I was so into cycling.
She saw your passion and realized
Uh-huh.
she's better off not coming
So
in
she
between
had to speak to mom. She sat her down, explained it to her. Then she was like, Mommy, if the right person is looking for her, it will or he will come to her. So stop giving her this mindset that if she's cycling, she will not get anyone to come across into her life. And besides, she's your child, she's your daughter. Leave the society. It's not them that have made her grow up like that. It's you. If she's doing something openly to you, appreciate. She's not hiding anything.
So then when you look back with the benefit of hindsight and see how some of our cultural practices come in between people's vocations,
Yes.
people's talents, do you feel that's an area you may eventually, as you grow into, I mean, there will be a time when you are unable to cycle because maybe not enough energy,
Yes.
but you see yourself going into the space of activism actively
Yes.
to say, parents,
Mhm.
allow your children, especially the girl child,
Yeah.
to thrive and do whatever it is that she can do for as long as she's within the confines of the law, not culture.
I actually urge a lot of parents out there
All the time.
all the time, because it was back then when our parents would give us time to speak one-on-one to know how would you want it, like what do you love you as a person. They advise us. Apparently, like this generation, our parents are more into looking for money. Money is on the mindset.
Because you have needs.
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
But so they get less time to be with their kids to know what do they want as them. Because there are those hobbies that kids would want, but then they know if they tell their parents, they'll be like, no, that's not you, me, I want you to be this, you know.
I mean, when we were growing up, for me, when a much older generation than you, Shamal,
Yes.
you would never tell your parents that you want to be an artist,
Thank you.
sports person. You say, excuse me?
How is that going to generate income? I'd be like, yeah, it will,
If you're
but
not
how?
a doctor, an engineer,
Teacher
even-
by then.
even a journalist, you'd say it when you are, nobody wanted to associate with it. But yes. So for you, you tell parents, allow the girls be.
I just urge mostly the mothers, sit down with your kids, especially the girls. I know there are girls out there that love cycling, that they love to embrace cycling. But our mothers feel how they've been brought up, it's how they want to instill
The same.
the same to the kids. But this is something different. It's not that if you support them, they're going to go away from how you want them to be, but it's just a matter of knowing that this is them. Let them just mix the other stuff
with
what they love.
But Shamal, for you, you had the double tragedy here. The culture of your culture,
Yes.
then the religion. Because women in your religion, this dressing may be considered inappropriate.
Exactly. But
did you have trouble with the religious leaders?
You know,
or you didn't get there?
We didn't get there, but I think let's get there a bit. You know, there are very many sheikhs that teach us. So I sat down and I really took my time to learn from the different sheikhs. There is one who is called Imam Ahmad Chayune and Sheikh Chiti and others. There is a verse in the Quran whereby Allah tells us that you don't have to do something just because you want people to see. Same applies, like if I wake up and I want to put on pants, I know it's not right. That's not how we have to dress up, but you want to veil as well. In your heart, you woke up wanting to veil. If you decide not to veil because you're putting on a pant, you'll be like, how will the people see me? Now that means however much you're veiling, you're not veiling it for the sake of Allah.
You're doing it
for the sake of the society. And besides keeping fit, we have to keep fit. You even tell us, like, even the men, the women, you have to do some gym and keep the body what?
Active,
yes. So if I'm cycling and I know I'm veiling and I'm a Muslim, if it's time for prayer, I normally have my prayer mat and my prayer dress in my bag whenever I'm cycling. I know if the time clocks, I'll stop and pray. Have wudu, then pray. I'm not doing it for the sake that I want the society to see me as that I'm
praying, but you're doing it because
for the sake of me, because I'm doing for the sake of Allah.
So you will practice your religion,
Yes.
ride your bike,
Yes.
and live like that. Let's go back to school.
Mm-hmm.
You were cycling to school, especially after getting a new bike.
Yes, yes.
You were studying to be what? What did you intend to be?
By then, I wanted to be a doctor. I wanted to be a doctor, but sadly...
Not a professional cyclist.
No,
to go for the Tour de France and all these other prestigious
By
tournaments.
then, actually, I didn't know about Tour de France, but I knew about the races.
Mm-hmm.
I loved them. I wanted to go for them, but I would have this fear, like my mom has this fear. If you go for races, you might crash. You come back with broken bones, and she's like, "Me, I didn't send someone
you to go and maim themselves. I only have money for your fees.
Thank you.
Not hospital bills."
So there are some things I would, stay away from, because she'll be like, "I need to be a doctor," because that's what she wanted to be.
You to be?
To be, yes.
Not necessarily what you wanted to be. It looks like.
I also loved it, but
because
at some
mommy
point,
loved it.
Maybe, yes. But then when I did my senior form, my grades didn't come out so good that I had to go for sciences. Then I went for arts.
Mm-hmm.
And then that's how everything switched, and then I focused more into cycling. Because now I saw this is me.
Did you go beyond HSC in
Yes,
your
yes.
education?
Yes, I did.
Where did you go?
I did hotel and tourism management.
Wow.
I did it at Mutesa University. And I was cycling from home to campus. Mm-hmm.
Later on, you will work at
Coffee at Last.
Coffee at Last in Machindye.
Yes.
See, and you were not afraid to pick your bike from home, ride through the traffic of Kampala,
yes.
Crazy as it can be sometimes,
Uh-huh.
arrive at your workplace,
Mm-hmm.
remove your cycling gear, dress up as a waitress, and serve your customers with a smile.
Thank you.
Take us back to some of, I love listening to challenges and how you overcame them. Riding in this city of ours is some hell of a crazy feat. One, there are not anything to write home about in as far as dedicated cyclist lanes are concerned. Motorists are entitled and they feel like you on bicycles are really
down.
And then you're a girl.
Yeah. So I'm a girl, they have to bully you, tease you out. They used to say, so in my head I was like, who says so? One actually had the audacity to tell me, who gave birth to this girl?
What?
Then I was like, actually, I had him, so I was provoked to answer him back. I asked him, you think I don't have a mother? Or don't you think my mother is proud of me? And I remember it was a passenger on a border. There were two borders next to me.
Mm-hmm.
So when this one said like, I was like, excuse me? I have a mother and she's proud of me of what I'm doing. So the other one who was in front was like, he gave me actually a 20K. I was like, go and refresh it. I was like, okay, now you see, you're busy beefing on me. People are busy laughing what I'm doing. So in Luganda, there is a saying, so like amongst the 10, not everyone is going to hate me. I believe there are those that are proud of what I'm doing.
Let's get down the safety bit of it. Like I said, if you can ride in Kampala, you can ride anywhere in the world, including some streets in hell. Mm-hmm. But any hard brushes with accidents?
Yes. I remember I had an accident. I was going for work. That day I had an afternoon shift.
Mm-hmm.
You see from Kampala Boulevard, those traffic lights heading to Clock Tower.
Yes. Entebbe Road.
Yes, Entebbe Road, yes. Before actually, there is Freedom City Plaza. Sorry, Freedom Plaza something.
Yes.
So in that intersection. So I was sloping down, then there was a fuso going to turn, but for it saw me that I was close, so it gave me the lights of go. So as I was going down like this, then there was a border guy. He was riding one way. So for him, he felt like I was too far, that he could just come, pass before me reaching. And it was just a crash. So we crashed like this. Thankfully, I just had a sprain.
Oh dear.
So when I had a sprain like this on my arm, I didn't feel it then. So, but my front shocks were broken. So, and I was like, okay, now this is a mess. But luckily, that's the route I was normally using to go for work. And the border guys that saw everything that happened, know me, and it was the guy who was in wrong. Firstly, he was using the wrong lane, a one-way. So me, I just kept quiet, and other guys were like, by then actually after my interview, people used to know my name. They're like, Akoze Nakabuye, what's going on? Are you hurt or anything? I'm like, I just need him to fix my bike, that's all. So I didn't know there was a traffic officer on the side watching everything. So the guy was like, me, I just have 10,000. I was like, 10K, it's not going to fix my bike. I won't say that I'm hurt, because if I say I'm hurt, I'm going to even pay my medical bills. So the officer just came and was like, I'm saying you guys are not
resolving anything.
So what's going on? I'm like, my bike is broken and can't get fixed. He's just telling me he has 10K. So the officer was like, can 10K fix? I'm like, it can't. I was like, okay. Hey, pick up her bike, put it on the judge, go to the police station. So we went to that police station near post office. I made a statement. The guy was there still denying that he doesn't have money. And I'm like, you know what? I have no time. I'm going for work and I'm late. All I need, get me 100,000 to buy new shocks. It's like, that's a lot. And me, I have 20. Now he's...
It's not, but it's more than 10K.
Remember, that's my bike that my best friend gave to me. Wow. So I had to give him a call. I'm like, hey, I've got an accident. Where are you at? Just come, help me out, because I'm rushing for work. And that's when he came in, I just left them there. I had to go to work. When
this time you took a border? Or
I took a border. Because when I took a border, and before realizing that I had a spray, now when I got at work, trying to hold the tray, that's when I realized I couldn't hold. But good thing I had made a call, like I got an accident, so when I reached, I really couldn't. I had to take a leave to go back home.
So you've had some of those brushes. And were you wearing safety gear? Did you have a helmet on
By then, I didn't have any safety gear with me. I didn't have a helmet, but they had given me a helmet. But you know, as something like you've not been so used to it, I didn't feel like, yeah, there is a need. But instead, I actually gave it out to another little girl I was training by then.
Oh, you even train little girls?
Yes, I train kids cycling. Even big people, I can train them cycling.
That's very interesting, Shamal. Now, so you're working, you're enjoying your work, but you're cycling there. And then at what point do you have our two babies? Because everyone was saying, which man is really going to take this one? Eventually, how did the man come? Is he another cyclist?
Yeah, he was a cyclist by then.
It had to be.
He was a cyclist, but he wasn't this... too much of it for cycling. He was just using it for work.
No, I think he was using it to get you.
I think.
Is that
Definitely. Because we met on the way. And he was like surprised to see a girl cycling. So, because he told me, I thought like you're these planned kids, like, you know, just taking a ride
cycling
around.
For show.
Thank you.
Not knowing it was your means of mobility, your livelihood.
And then because I was like, I mean, can you even know where I'm coming from? I'm working using this bike. And he was like, yeah, I thought like, you know, you're just taking a ride around. Maybe you have some people looking out for you. I'm like,
yeah, you could be riding with some bodyguards following you up, you know? And all that.
So
then he realized you are no more Shamal.
Yeah, he was actually surprised. Nakabuye, yes. And
like they say, the rest is history.
Yeah.
Do your daughters ride?
Yeah, actually one rides, but she's just there yet. The youngest.
The youngest. And you would encourage them certainly get into riding.
Actually, they love. Surprisingly, when you ask her, when she has seen me going on a bike, and you ask her where is mommy, she went on the bike.
Wow.
Where? I don't know, but she went on the bike.
Let's take a short break here, Shama. When we return, we'll be talking about the whole idea, not of recreational cycling, but cycling as a means to earn a living.
Yes.
And we're not talking about carrying passengers, but doing what you do, like tourism,
yes, sir.
Like expeditions, charity, and cycling as well, as a lifestyle. Incredible life stories. We'll be right back.
Everyone has a life story to tell, but an incredible life story is shared and told differently.
Shamal, tell me.
Yes.
Back on this program, we share our life stories in a way that others really would feel very inspired. In your case, without a doubt, those who are watching us off our YouTube channel,
Yeah.
I'm sure they are mesmerized to see you. But some, I'm sure, have also caught you doing what you do best, cycling on expeditions and like. How do you get into that space? Because let's not forget, we last spoke when you're telling us you're working at a cafe in Machinge.
Machinge.
You were practicing what you studied in school, which is hotel management and tourism.
Yes.
You were a waitress, and that's how your journey was.
Yeah, and I would firstly say cycling comes within, it has to be a passion. No, yes, it can be a hobby, but it has to have the passion within first. Because you can have the hobby, but then you're not so much passionate about it.
Absolutely, yes.
So if you have the passion, that means the hobby part will come in.
Naturally.
And if you to join the both, that means it's going to be superb.
Wow.
You're going to do it willingly with affection. Because when you're doing it, you're making other people love it, get envy to be like, I want to be like her.
Wow.
Because whenever I'm on the road and some kids see me, they actually be, oh my God, it's a woman cycling.
Mommy, daddy, see, it's a girl.
And there was a time I was close to a mother and a child. I was like, Mommy, omwala vuge girl. And I was like, hello, how are you? She was like, oh my God, Ash. Like, I've greeted her back because she thought I wasn't really a woman. I was a guy. So when I spoke, that's when she had
the voice, the soprano.
So I love it when I'm giving the young people that
inspiration.
Wow.
So then now you are working, you're cycling. How do you transcend now into fun cycling, UG, and other places you join? How did the journey go?
I joined fun cycling in 2020.
How did you get in there? Or what drew your attention to them?
I remember I had a friend. So this friend was like, because I mostly used to do solo rides. One person, I had never done group rides because I didn't know of the groups around of cycling. Though they were there that some wanted to take me in, but I just felt like...
You didn't want groupies.
Thank you.
You wanted to be...
So this friend is like, hey, there is a group called Fun Cycling. How about we go cycle with them? I was like, okay, let me try it. So we normally meet at the Independence Monument every Sunday.
Wow.
So when I went there, I came in, I was there seated in my shorts, you know. So I was like, she's a girl, look at her bike, it's not that cool, but can she manage? I chilled, I kept quiet. Actually, we were going to Seziba Falls that day. So we started to ride. So when we started to ride, I was like riding to their pace because...
You are used to it anyway.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, let me try to see how they cycle. Not until my friend that had brought me told me, hey, you're going to get tired. Because I had rode with him before, so he knew my pace.
Your pace, yes.
So when he told me, like, shoot, I was like, okay, I just shoot.
Because you knew the destination.
Yes, I knew, and these ones didn't know, but I knew the destination. So I shoot to Seziba Falls. So that was my first ride with them. And when we came back, everyone was saying,
hey.
They were like, oh, the speed merchant. From the point of saying, can this girl manage? To this point of like,
That's not the one to follow.
Don't follow her. If you want to be safe, don't follow her.
My goodness.
They were all surprised of what I did. And
so Shamal combines both agility, speed, confidence, and the female charm, of course.
Yes, yes.
Wow. So when you get in there now, you realize, oh, groups can be fun.
Definitely.
And you...
Yeah, and that's how I entered fun cycling and would be doing rides. I mean, we actually covered challenge rides. We call them challenge rides. We do like a one-day ride. From Kampala to Fort Potro in one day.
Wow.
Kampala to Hoima, we've done it before. Kampala Mbale, Kampala Masaka, Kampala Mbarara.
So from here to Mbarara, for example, how long does that take you?
We normally start our journeys at 6 a.m. in the morning.
And you get to Mbarara at what time?
Depends on my speed. If I want to cycle at around 25 kph or beyond 25 kph, I would be in Mbarara latest 7.
How do you know what speed you're cycling at? Do you have a speedometer
and
odometer on the bike?
Yes, yes.
Oh, so they are that high-tech?
Yeah, there are some apps that track our rides and your speed, your elevation, your calories.
Your heartbeat.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. So when you joined, it was fun cycling, as the word goes.
Yes.
Fun. But then you
Cycling.
eventually realized you can make some money out of it.
Yeah.
Then you resigned your job. How do you leave your job to Dao?
No, I actually left my job because I felt like I would want to go create, to see something else. Actually, me to
You
leave,
burnt out.
to leave the job, there were some issues at the job, not so big, but they were inner within my workmates, and I just felt I didn't want to
Be in
pull
a
strings.
toxic environment.
Thank you. My boss was a good one. He never sent me away, but I had to resign on my own.
And then you embraced the bike.
The bike. Because even by then I realized that the cafe part was keeping me more contained.
And not paying you as much as this one that allows you to
not-
be a free bird.
Thank you. So, and I just woke up and I'm like, Mommy, I'm not working again. We actually had not like a quarrel, but a pull up. Like she's like,
disagreements.
Yeah,
now,
what are you going to do?
How are you going to survive?
Exactly. Well, I was like, Mommy, this is the time I need to enjoy myself out.
But also earn a living.
Thank
so
you.
now with tour guiding, you get paid for it?
Yes. I've just signed. I was actually signed in recently in the club I was telling you about. The organization, it's called All Ride Africa, stroke On Deck Uganda. But within Fun Cycling, I was a publicity secretary.
Wow.
And I was also a events and welfare manager for my team. When we are planning trips, I would be the one coordinating,
putting the itinerary together and
Exactly.
ensuring that the logistics are worked on.
Thank you. Yes.
Shamal, that's an incredible way of looking at things. Tell me, you were actively riding, you're a girl. Share with us your first experience realizing you are now with a child you're expecting. At what point did you stop riding while pregnant, if at all?
I would mostly speak about my second child because it's her who came to me as a surprise.
Wow.
Because I got to know that I was pregnant of her when she was 6 months already. And
all this time you were riding?
I was riding. And actually me to realize, we had gone to Mbale, Kampala to Mbale, that ride. I realized I was eating too much. So I was like, but why am I having like
these
hunger?
cravings and...
I know, like every now and then I feel like I'm hungry. I need to eat. It was weird, but I was like, oh, maybe my body has not been hydrated enough.
Want your clothes feeling smaller now?
Trust me, if I show you the pics and I'm like, I was
6 months pregnant,
you'll be like, no. Because me too, when I actually made a test, I thought I was maybe 2 weeks. But then I had these stomach complications, like stomach pains. Then I had to go for a scan. And that's when the doctor was like, I can't even tell you the sex. I was like, at 2 weeks? That's weird. He was like, no. You're 6 months. I was like, okay, you gotta be kidding me.
I have a feeling you then, if you are still riding actively to Mbale and 6 months pregnant, you must have ridden yourself to the maternity.
No. Surprisingly, the 7th month really gave me this, that's when you realize like you're pregnant or you're having someone inside you. Then you start saying like, I had plans to do this. Now what am I going to do? The 7th month was a challenging one because I had to make myself fit in that I have now an baby. So that's when I had to first relax. But at the 8th month, I repeated cycling again, but for about just only 5-10 kilometers, small, just to keep the body used and not to get
Shamal, you're quite something. Riding a bicycle at 8 months pregnant?
Yes, I used to ride it. Simple ones.
And you didn't cripple this baby?
No. Actually, she was 2 feet.
I mean, because of the...
She was 2 feet and her bones are so strong. So the doctors were like, the child is so strong. What?
And you had a normal delivery?
And I had a C-section because she changed herself too quick.
Oh dear.
From the cervix. So she was so tall. So she felt uncomfortable. So she had to twist herself.
We don't blame it on the bike.
No. It wasn't the bike.
You would defend cycling to the last dot, wouldn't you?
It wasn't. Because my doctor told me your cervix was enough. Like strong enough to push a baby. It was just that small twist, but it was okay, alhamdulillah.
Wow, that's incredible. So in other words, what we're trying to drive as Shamil is that being a woman, your physiological needs and functions and cycling, the two can coexist without much interference.
No. There can't be any interference. It's just a matter of planning how you want it to be.
Future outlook. Do you see yourself moving away from just recreational and touristic cycling into competitive cycling, or at 28 you feel you are now maybe too old to go for the Tour de France?
I would want, but I love MTB more, mountain biking more. Road racing, not so much.
Or maybe it's because we don't have the facilities here, and maybe the support
Exactly.
that would
Our
come
support
in.
system for cycling in Uganda, it's really not so good.
So even when you have the speed in your legs
Mhm.
and the agility in your body, and you could possibly perform very well on an international stage, you haven't been prepared as such. But you have come before many today. Are you laying the ground for athletes
Yes,
to go into competitive cycling?
mostly for the women. Because I want the women also to be out there known worldwide, not only for the men, still in cycling. That's why if we get a community for young kids who are wanting to cycle, mostly the girls, we can train them, nurture them out so that they take cycling as not only a passion, but as an athletic sport that will cause them to have an income.
That's not something you're going to tell the children. They may never appreciate it that way. You may need to tell we, the parents.
We the parents.
Let our children be. And they could
especially the girls. Because the men, you can either be accepted to do anything you want, not like the
Shamal,
girls.
if you have a race to say Gulu on a bike, maybe in the next couple of days, how do you prepare that? What foods do you eat? What physics?
There are two things. A race is a competitive and
a cycling or
a cycling ride. They are different, two different things.
So you prepare
a
differently?
race, in mostly cases, it's a loop. They do like a loop. And if it's 100 kilometers, there'll be like 4 laps at once. It's done. But now, like a trip, cycling trip, that means you have to have an itinerary. Day one, I'll cycle from here to there. How is my sleeping plan? I'm going to be camping. If you're going to be camping, then you look at the places that are favorable for you to camp. The foods, you can either be the, some of us who work with our small stoves, or you'll be like, I'll be eating in the nearby towns. But what if, in most cases, what if you camp in a place whereby you can't
get access to a little trading center?
That's when you have to be having snacks on you, like biscuits, chocolates, like just
the high energy
bars, and also to have the spare parts for yourself.
Oh, you even have spare parts for the bike?
Yeah, you have to move with Allen key sets, spare tubes, spare tires, because if you're going on a long trip, you never know where you might get a puncture or not.
You can fix a bicycle tire?
Yes, I can. I can fix it.
On your own?
Yes, I can. I've learned that.
It's interesting. What's your favorite dish, Shamal?
My favorite dish? That's quite, I love chicken. Chicken and rice.
Chicken and rice. Oh, that's quite basic though.
Mostly pan fried.
Pan fried. I thought you'd love our traditional food as cooked by your mom, like, pilau, chicken.
But I'm a chef by profession as well.
I know, yeah.
So I love it when I do it myself.
And what do you love to wash it down with? What's your best drink?
I love juice, mostly cocktails.
Mostly cocktail.
Yeah.
But when you're riding, you're riding with a bottle of water or electrolyte or energy fizzy drinks?
I actually normally use water with ORS because it's an hydration solution. Yes. So when you drink it, and when you're cycling and you're sweating,
you're losing salt.
So when you drink something that has ORS, you're hydrating back. Yes.
But of course, other than cycling, what else do you do to have fun?
I love traveling.
Well, on a bike.
Yes, the bike has to be there, but in case it's not there, I love traveling. I love making new friends.
And cooking.
And cooking, definitely.
What's the best dish that you can cook?
Any dish that you want, I can cook it.
You don't want to know what I love to eat.
What would you love to eat? Mazeda.
Super. This is a beautiful country, and I'm sure you have seen it even better than ourselves because you do so on a bicycle at a good speed that your eye is able to appreciate every little detail.
Yes.
Where is the best place you've been to in this country where you feel, wow, I arrived here and it felt like paradise in Uganda?
Bwindi.
Wow. You've ridden your bicycle to Bwindi?
Yes, in Bwindi, and I did gorilla trekking.
With a bicycle?
At some point.
Yes, then they cut you off.
Yes. And then in the national parks. most
You don't
likely.
fear riding in there and the lion shows up from the...
No, we have ranges,
Mhm.
but there's a how you cycling and you get close to the animals, like the giraffes.
Mm.
You know that feeling? Instead of being in the car, yes, you will see them, but if you're on the bike, you have that access.
Close.
Up close. It's there, you're there. And how would you feel? Yes, you saw the giraffe in the car, but if you're close to it, how would you feel between the two?
Well, I think I would go with the bike anytime and just
Exactly.
look at my neighbors. The giraffe
Exactly.
up there. Wow. Do you take some time off maybe to do other things like read a book? And
Yeah.
if so, what kind of books do you love to read?
Fiction.
Why not realities and biographies? Why do you like fiction?
Fiction.
To
I love
escape?
fantasies.
Uh-huh.
You know, all those imaginary stuff. Like, you know, when you read something and you feel like, okay, now it was this. You imagine, you portray it.
Escape into that world.
Exactly. So I love fiction novels.
Where do we see ourselves? Maybe in the next 5 years, 10 years? Shamal, what's your future outlook?
To create a cycling club for women.
Exclusively for women.
Yes.
Wow. What does that take? Money? Time?
Support from the parents.
Or support from
And
parents?
trust.
Look them in the face on the camera and say, parents, this is my dream and only you can make it happen.
My fellow mothers out there, it's you that have to support me to embrace our girl child talents and hobbies, especially to those that love cycling. Kindly support them. If a time gets there and I come out to you and I'm like, please entrust me with your kids, please trust me, we'll make a difference within our girls.
But how am I going to trust you with my daughters, Shamal, in a city like this one whose infrastructure doesn't support cycling?
Firstly, I would have...
Are you having conversations with, say, KCC and other people
Yes.
that are responsible?
We actually normally do rides, the Kampala
Car-free days?
Yes, car-free days and Kampala cycling days. We are actually working hand in hand with the KCC so that for all the roads in Kampala that they are constructing, they instill more cycling lanes.
And also create some non-motorized transport sections.
Thank you. And also the people, like the drivers, the motorists, they have to understand that cyclists are also part of the road. So they have to respect them. If it's the NMT, kindly leave it for the NMT.
Don't park your cars there.
Exactly.
Or go and sleep there.
Because this is where we're going to feel safe. So like to the European countries, if you put your car in the NMT, you have to be fined. So the way they have that respect, it's in them. Why not us as well? Let's just not be arrogant or negligent to be like, yes, we know they're there, but we also want to use the road. Because this is us. So be you on their side, we also be on our side. We look out for each other.
Shamal Nakabuye, it's been a pleasure having you on the program.
Pleasure is
sharing
mine.
your incredible life story and indeed inspiring hundreds, perhaps even, well, thousands of young girls who will watch you and say, I want to be like her. But I'm sure many ladies would want to be your age with that number of children and still looking fit like this.
Not to forget the husbands out there as well. If your woman loves cycling, support them. Some men out there, they feel their women shouldn't be out cycling, yet they know they love cycling. Support them. If you feel you're insecure for your woman to be alone on the road, jump on a bike as well and give her that comfort. She would be feeling safe.
It would be actually nice to be riding as a couple.
Exactly. You know how that feeling would be like, you ride together, get a stopover, have something to drink. You're also having a one-on-one time. Besides the kids, the family, it's a one-on-one.
You're having me time. You're bonding.
Exactly.
You're creating memories.
You know what I'm meaning?
And you're being as romantic as it gets. The program only got interesting, but unfortunately we've got to close it. But it's been nice having this incredible young lady sharing with us her incredible life stories. Like I always tell many of my guests, this is not where your story ends. Matter of fact, this is just the extension, and we believe that we will meet you when the frontiers have moved forward. Inshallah. And you're telling us what has since happened from today onwards.
Yes. Don't forget, I'm the 12K queen.
What does that mean?
Remember when I told you about the 12,000 kilometers? That defines it. The 12K queen, the only female that has covered 12,000 kilometers. traversing the whole of East Africa.
That's in the world or in Uganda?
In Uganda.
Wow, that's a record.
Yes, that's my record, and I'm still breaking more records to go.
What's your next target? How many kilometers do you intend to
From
break?
here to Cape Town.
That's around how many kilometers? I don't know. Anyway, but that's certainly
10,000
long.
plus.
Wow.
For 3 months, I'll be on my bike.
We'll be happy to give you all the support and cheer.
Thank you.
And yes, you can subscribe to our channel here on YouTube and continue to follow our incredible life stories as we delve deeper into seeing how ordinary folks share their extraordinary life stories. For now, it's a wrap. God bless.
Bye.
Everyone has a life story to tell, but an incredible life story is shared and told differently.